Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. My name is FaithAnn and I'm so glad that you're here. If you're new here, a little bit about me is I have struggled with chronic health issues for multiple years and we've, been trying to figure out what's going on, trying different ways to get better, all of those things. In 2020, I was diagnosed with Chiari malformation, which is basically where your brain extends further down out of like the skull. Some people's into their spine, which is not good for many reasons. It can hinder spinal fluid flow, it can cause headaches, all different kinds of symptoms. Because basically back here is crowded. And then if it goes even further down, it can cause something called a syrinx in your spine, which is a fluid-filled cyst, which can cause even more problems. So, I actually got surgery for Chiari malformation August 2025, almost a year ago. July 20th will be 11 months, and I will have my year follow-up at the beginning of September. It's really crazy, like, to think that I got that surgery and, like, where we are now. To get there was a journey, and honestly, it wasn't promised what would get better after that surgery. The surgery is not a fix for Chiari malformation. It makes room for it, so it's not as crowded. The brain still hangs the same and all those things. I did not get the most invasive surgery. There's different kinds of surgeries. Basically, I let the surgeon decide when he went in if it was necessary for me to go the next step further and get the more invasive surgery. And with the ultrasound, he deemed that it wasn't necessary. So I got a skull bone removed in the back, C1 laminectomy, so like shaving down my first bone of my neck, and then some just fibrous bands removed that were tight, just to open up the space so that my spinal fluid could flow better and there's not as much crowding, and in hopes to help alleviate symptoms. And so, the more invasive surgery would include a duroplasty, which is like opening up part of the brain, and it can cause a lot of different, more complications stuff can happen with that. So I didn't have to get that, but still a major surgery. So anyway, since surgery, I would say that headache that was caused by Chiari is gone. I've had a resolve of different things. If you want to hear some of that, you can go to the 6-month post-surgery video. That's not necessarily what this video is. So yeah, if you want to hear more about that, you can there. I will say since the 6-month mark, I've had some symptoms come back here and there, and I've had more pain and stuff more recently. It's kind of just like a roller coaster. It hasn't been like a going up of getting better. It's kind of been like better, like back and forth. So, currently trying to figure out a possible other issue that might be going on outside of Chiari. I went into surgery knowing that wasn't the full answer, and so we're getting further in the journey, way more further ahead than we were years ago. I mean, I was diagnosed in 2020, but I had issues for years and years prior. This has been over 10 years in the making. So it's a blessing that I was offered surgery last year, and to see where I'm at today. It can be discouraging sometimes because I would like to be more ahead, better, but I am better in a lot of ways. And one of the ways which I want to share in this video is my stamina of walking. Before surgery, I have a handicap pass, so that I don't have to walk far. I would have to be in a wheelchair sometimes and stuff like that. Leading up to surgery, I wasn't as much, having to do wheelchair and stuff, but I think I was living a lifestyle more of like trying to not walk too much, not sit too much, not stand too much. And whenever I try to exercise, before surgery, I was being even more diligent of trying to go to the gym and walking, and I'd water walk and all sorts of stuff. But there would be, when I water walk or go on the treadmill or whatever, there would be symptoms that would come up that were quite not okay, which is what like led up to part of the decision of surgery. And I have to like modify how I walk and stuff. And I think that there's still some modification now, but I have built up my body to be able to handle more in general of when it comes to walking and standing and stuff like that. So how I did that? Well, number one, the Chiari surgery definitely just sent a whole release like down my spine. Like I'm not having to move as much when I sit. It's just like, I think because the spinal fluid's flowing better that my body's getting what it needs more. And so, it's not like trying to move and uncomfortable and all sorts of stuff. Like, yeah. And so, sorry, a brain blip. I was realizing that I say it's sorts of stuff, and it's like I'm explaining what the stuff is, so I don't know why I say that. That's why I had a brain blip. Yeah, so not only like with sitting, but I think that plays a role with walking and standing and the things that I keep saying. So after so number one, just the surgery itself, but number two, you get surgery, even if you're not a Chiari patient, like that's not something you struggle with, that you're trying to build up the ability to walk more and move more and have more freedom in your body. This applies either way. I was diligent in doing what my body could do. I think a lot of times it's like, oh, if I can't walk this far or this speed or whatever, I'm not going to walk at all. And it's like in order to build up that stamina to be able to walk more and be able to handle a bit more physically, we have to start out where we can. Even if it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the treadmill at true speed, no incline, at least you're moving. Because if you're in a world that is so sedentary, just sit in there. And like we need to move. Like people back then used to walk everywhere. So why all of a sudden do we not get as many steps? And it's because we're just in a different time. We have cars, we have different ways of traveling, we have jobs that have us sitting all the time, and like movement is important. And so for anybody, I'd say, just start where you can and just build on that until you feel like, okay, I'm doing 10 minutes now. I can do 15. Okay, I'll do 15. Okay, let's try 20. Okay, 20. We got this. 25. Okay, maybe this is too much. Let's go back to 20. Okay, let's keep working on 20. Let's try 25 now. Okay, 25 minutes. You're training your body. And so when it comes to me from after surgery, I instantly, as soon as I could, was walking. I mean, I remember, I think the day I got back to the hotel from my surgery, because I got it at Johns Hopkins and it's not near where I live. So after I got released from the hospital, I went to a hotel and stayed to make sure I didn't need to go back to doctor or anything before I traveled home. And so at the hotel, I have a video of myself the day after walking in the halls with my dad. He just had brain surgery, and I'm walking in the halls. It started then, I was not going to sit. I needed to start letting my body heal, and I was told to walk. And so it started slow because, my body was jogging at a major surgery. But I every day would go outside and walk. I even had like a head thing I put on to cover my scar so I wouldn't get scorched by the sun. But I made it an intentional move every day to walk. And then, so the surgery was August 2025. And then by end of October, I started driving. And when I started driving, I was able to drive to the gym. So I went back to the gym and I started walking 20 minutes on the treadmill. And then, yeah, I'd have it a goal to go at least 3 times a week. Sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less. Some months were harder than others, but I was intentional to make sure I was moving. And I was also in PT too, but that wasn't, I didn't like walk or do the bike or anything. I'm not like most patients at PT. So a lot of people will come in and just start on the bike or the treadmill or whatever. I don't ever do that. So, but I do on my own time, and he knows that. So, anyway, but yeah, I was intentional, really walk. I mean, some days I go to the gym, and I was looking back at texts because I want to give an accurate number of when I started doing certain things. But I have texts that I've sent my boyfriend saying, like, I walked 11 minutes, and it's like, yeah, I wish I could have done more, but at least I did something. So that's the mindset. It's like you do something. Something's better than nothing. Some days I go to the gym and all I could do is stretch. I start the treadmill, my hip would go whack, and I'm like, nope. But at least I did something, you know? But so, yeah. So started going at the end of October into November, and then, it said I looked at my gym log, and it said I went back, did it say the 31st of October? I think so. 31st, somewhere around there. And then, so I was consistently walking 20 minutes whenever I'd go, like, to the gym. And, you know, there's some days where it was a little less. There was a rarity. I was more consistent. I'd walk sometimes 20 minutes in the pool. Or I'd do, like, 20 minutes on the treadmill, some more in the pool. That started happening later. But then around March, I started doing 25 minutes. So that was a few months after. From November to March, it took around for me to start walking 25 minutes. The shift that happened, though, was I had gotten iron infusions. That was a big part. For me to go up to 25, there had to be a diminishing of some symptoms that I was getting when I was just doing 20. Like, I could not go past 20. And then I got iron infusions in February, and then by the end of March, I started to be able to do 25 minutes. And then April, I started to do 30. I did 30. I laugh because I did 30. I look back, I did 30 because I was on steroids for an allergic reaction, and that always just makes my body feel better. And so I was like, I could just walk even longer than 30, but I knew I wasn't going to push myself. But I think from that point on, I started to walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes. And so, yeah, but the whole time that I was walking on the treadmill, it's only ever been at 2 speed, no incline, ever. No incline ever, no speeding up. It's the same speed. The only thing that I'm changing is the amount of time that I'm on the treadmill. And so I felt a difference with it. And like when the times that I don't go, it's definitely like, okay. Like I feel better moving, and it makes me happy that my body can move because it never used to be able to do that before. In that capacity is wonderful. Yeah, I will say the more I started doing 30 minutes, it was fine for a while. And then all of a sudden my hips started to go out. And like, when I say go out, it just like started getting a lot of pain and I'd be limping and stuff when I started hitting more minutes. It wasn't at the beginning of the 30. It was weird. It just started happening randomly one day. But so then I pivoted. So, before I say how I pivoted, I will say, I realized it was brought to my attention how much my stamina has been built. One day I was with a friend and we were walking somewhere and it was far and it was a little more up a hill. I was just walking and she was like, girl, I need to work out with you. I need to walk with you, whatever you're doing, because I can't handle this right now. And I'm just like, chill. I'm just walking. And I'm like, wait, what? And like, not to like be negative on her, but I was like, positively for me, I was like, oh my gosh, someone's actually like talking about how I'm like able to move faster and like without much struggle. And like usually I recall a few Christmases ago, I was like going to stores with my cousin, and she's like, are you coming? Like I'd be like behind her, like having to walk slow and like just not able to do that. And so for someone to be like, oh, I need to do what you're doing, and I'm like, I'm not even doing that much, but it was like I built it up, like even with the simplest thing of 2-speed, no incline, just slowly bringing up the time, but consistently doing it every week to an extent, and that was really encouraging. And so yeah, so in August, when I got surgery, I was living in a different house. So when I walked around, I was walking around a different neighborhood. Then we moved here, and I started walking here, and then I haven't really walked here much. I've just been going to the gym, or I go, if that's what I would say too, if I'm not going on the treadmill at the gym, I am going on this walking path outside. And so, but I decided one day to walk in the neighborhood in the same length that I did when I was healing from surgery. And I'm still healing from surgery, just like more closer to the surgery date. And I walked the same distance in a much shorter amount of time. It was quick, constant speed, not even sweating. And I'm like, how did I already make it here? I like had a hard time last time. And not only did I make it to that spot, but I went around the neighborhood in a different way. And at that point, that day it was a lot, but then the more I did it the next few days, it was like, oh my gosh, I went around actually twice. I was like, oh, I'm not done. Like I can still walk more. Let's go. And it's like, that's crazy. Because the neighborhood's definitely a little bit more hilly and stuff like that. And it's like, and then I'm not destroyed after. It builds up my body now. And it's just like so exciting. But yeah, since I know my hip has an issue with the treadmill, I haven't been on the treadmill the past few weeks. So what I've done is I walk some around the neighborhood. And I've been intentionally, before I do anything on the machines at the gym, I lay down and stretch my hips and do strengthening exercises for my hips. And the goal, especially with the strengthening exercises, well, stretching too, is that my hips will get stronger. And then I'm going to try the treadmill again and see if I am better off with it. So yeah, but what I've been doing is the exercises, and then I actually go on the bike. And I've been doing that because it's not as much impact. And I go pretty quickly on the bike. It's wild the difference of distance and speed on certain days. Like yesterday, I think it said I went like 2.7 miles distance wise. I only go on the bike for 15 minutes right now. I'm just in a hard pain season, but again, it's like I'm still doing something to make sure I keep it up and keep my body moving. And so I went 15 minutes, and it said that number with whatever speed it was, but the day before it was only like 1 something, and it was the same distance. So I definitely wasn't going as fast the day before, but it goes to show like some days my body feels better than others, and it's going to be different, but at least I hold myself to the standard of like, I'm going to go for this amount of time. And if I really can't, at least I did something. And so, yeah, I just want to encourage you, whether you've had surgery or you haven't, just in life, to like, just do what you can do and do it consistently, and you will see change. Like, even if it's the smallest amount. Like I said, walk on the treadmill 10 minutes a day, or 10 minutes 3 times a week, or something like that. Keep going. And then when you feel like, oh, maybe I can do more, bring it up to 5. Do what you need to do. I know I don't feel comfortable doing incline or speeding up, so I won't do that. But the consistency has built up strength in my body to where I can do more. And I know, again, the surgery is a big part of that, but I also put in the work after surgery to build my body up from what surgery has helped with. So just encourage you to keep moving. Take even the small step. Consistency is key. Builds up stamina. And yeah, I'm excited to see how I continue to grow. But there's different ways to move. You can walk outside, you can walk on the treadmill, you can cycle, you can go in a pool, water walk. If your body hurts walking, the water takes off the weight. When I say water walk, people think like Jesus walking on water. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you literally go in the water and you walk in the water. You'd be surprised how good it feels for one. Sometimes I'll even just sit in the pool. But yeah, you'll feel how good it better it feels to walk in the water versus walking on land or treadmill, and you're still exercising and you have that resistance, but the water takes off some of your weight. But yeah, encourage you to keep moving. Look out for other videos. I hope to post some more soon of like updates and my continuous health journey. But I hope this encourages you that you can get stronger. You can be consistent. You can reach the goals. Sometimes it might take longer than you would like, but ultimately just keep pushing forward. Keep advocating for yourself. If I didn't figure out about the iron deficiency, I'm not too sure how consistent I could be in growing in my exercising. So if there's something physically going wrong in your body, something that's off, get it figured out, and don't let that be something that holds you back. Get it figured out and grow in the way, whatever way you can. Because like I said, I'm not someone that's running on the treadmill. I'm not someone that's inclining, going fast, anything like that. I know what I can do, and that has built my body up still. So do what you can do, advocate, move, get stronger. And yeah, hope this encouraged you today.